What's going on? You're watching NFL Daily, and we are your hosts, Mitchell Renz and Harrison Graham. So if you guys are looking for the latest NFL news and rumors, you're in the right place, and there is a lot of news and rumors around Ezekiel Elliott because that man just got paid, and around Melvin Gordon, so don't go anywhere because we're starting with Zeke. Agrees to a 6-year, $90 million deal, Harrison. Wow.
And you know what they always say, deadlines make deals. This was the deadline for the Dallas Cowboys and Ezekiel Elliott. Look, it's the Wednesday before Week 1. Wednesday, everybody knows in NFL circles, that's when you start to game plan for your Week 1 opponent. Obviously, certain teams probably start earlier for Week 1 specifically, but Wednesday is the installment date. Zeke gets in, signs the deal early this morning, becomes official, was at the facility at 7:30 this morning, went through practice, appears to be good to go. We'll see what his workload is Week 1, maybe into Week 2, but
he's going to get fed.
Jason Garrett said he came in pretty good shape. We know he's a bit of a slow starter to these NFL seasons, but he's in camp and he's ready to go.
Like, slow starter. You were talking about Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, this guy has been an absolute stud. I mean, considering the fact that in his first 40 games, Harrison, he's got 34 touchdowns. And I'm telling you this right now, if you guys are on FanDuel, you better get Zeke in your lineups because this dude is going to absolutely feast on the New York Giants. Now let's talk a little bit more about this extension detail that Zeke got going on here because it was a lot of money. But it's actually, I think, a very smart contract for the Cowboys.
Yeah, it's 6 years, $90 million extension, so it becomes an 8-year, $102.9 million deal over the next years. Little surprised to get 6 years on top of the 2 remaining. That's a lot of commitment for a running back. He'll be 31 in the last year of that deal. Obviously, they did get a roster exemption during the holdout, so they've got to cut a player before Sunday to make room for Ezekiel Elliott. I would imagine that's running back Jordan Chun. But we will see what the Cowboys decide to do there. First 2 years are fully guaranteed, totaling in $28 million as you see the extension details on the back 6 years part of the deal. Also, years 21 and 22 become fully guaranteed on the 5th day of the league year to the year prior. So like the 2021 contract becomes fully guaranteed the 5th day of 2020's NFL season, the league season, which is in March, I believe.
Well, he's got plenty of money, Harrison, now to maybe finally get a haircut. That dude's got a hell of a mop on top of his head. So he becomes the highest paid NFL running back per year. I mean, $15 million, as you can see, dude's making a lot of money.
And the bottom line, look, he won. You know,
he did.
He wanted to become the highest paid in at least one category. He became the highest paid in both. Highest paid annually, he gets the most guaranteed money, topping Todd Gurley with the $50 million guaranteed as well. And plus the 6 years, the security. Like, I am pretty stunned that he gets all three. Longevity, annual money, and highest paid and guaranteed money. That's a home run for Zeke Elliott.
It's an absolute home run, but he's been a home run since he came into the NFL in 2016. I mean, the 4th overall pick there. I mean, he came right onto the scene, led the NFL in rushing. And when you talk about a running back, when he's been on the field, I mean, numbers don't lie. That's the most rushing yards per game, minimum of 40 games.
Yep.
When you're in the conversation of Jim Brown, Barry Sanders, Terrell Davis, and Eric Dickerson, yeah.
He's one of the few true workhorse running backs left in today's NFL. Most teams going by committee. Most teams throwing the ball 60+% of the time. Not the case in Dallas, and you can see regarding this contract. They've built this thing around Zeke. They've committed to running the football. Over 100 yards per game, that is unheard of in today's NFL.
That's not even counting then the receiving. I mean, he saw 100. He was on pace to get 117 targets. Now, that's 16-game sample size when you add Amari Cooper. Like, Zeke is the ultimate bell cow running back. So here's a question for everyone who's watching us right now. Here at Chat Sports, we are the most interactive YouTube and Facebook channel, period. So did the Cowboys overpay for Ezekiel Elliott? So for everyone who's watching us right now, please comment Y for yes or type N for no. Did the Cowboys overpay for Ezekiel Elliott? Let me know.
I think the 6 years feels like a
He's
lot.
like, oh, man,
I'm
what
not
do I
talking
say?
annually and guaranteed. I have no problem because, look, he's better than Todd Gurley. That's just the bottom line. He doesn't have the injury history Todd Gurley has. And the Rams, while Gurley's a big part of it, they're just as much of a passing arsenal attack than the Cowboys are not that way. They benefit off the run first. The Rams made it to the Super Bowl without Gurley basically last year.
C.J. Anderson.
Very ineffective, so it is not the same there. 6 years I'm a little surprised about, but in terms of annual money and guaranteed money, I don't think they overpaid. They paid that best running back in the NFL top dollar, and that's what happened here.
So Hank Time says no. Jeff Rogers says no. Bridge Gamer 63 says yes. James Coca says no. Robert Lopez says no. Karzin Basifki? Did I get that right? I'm not sure, but he's saying hell yes. Okay, 15 million years is a joke. Cowboys won. Then Calvin Garnett is also going with no. So did the Cowboys overpay for Ezekiel Elliott? Why for yes and for no? Here's my next question I want to ask you guys. Will the Cowboys make the playoffs? I think the only reason why that Zeke won this battle and the fact that he got his money, I mean, the Cowboys are in win-now mode. Yep. You have to be with the team that they have assembled. So will the Cowboys make the playoffs? We want to hear from you guys. Continue to comment. Why for yes and for no? I'm going to say yes. Harrison?
Yeah, I think it's a playoff team for sure. We'll get into our power rankings a little bit later, so be out on the lookout for that. Stay tuned. I think both the Cowboys and the Eagles are playoff teams. It just comes down to who wins the division.
Fair enough. All right, let's move on now. Let's talk a little bit about Melvin Gordon. Is he on the move? We were just talking about the Eagles. This one is really, really interesting.
Yeah, so the report is that the Eagles made a trade offer for Gordon. That trade offer was kind of a joke. We'll get into those details in just a little bit. Look, Chargers say they're seeking a first and a fifth round pick. They obviously turned the Eagles down. They've also shelved extension talks for the year. If Gordon wants to come back, they're saying great, but they're not interested in making a deal at this point until after the season. This is the proposed offer that Albert Breer had the note on. Chargers would get Jordan Howard to replace Gordon and a 2020 mid-round pick. Eagles would get Gordon and a 2020 round pick. But the Eagles, on the surface, that's already really Gordon's clearly better than Howard, and you want to swap picks as well. But the Eagles also wanted the Chargers to absorb some of Gordon's salary for this season. Yeah, the Chargers were not going to say yes to that. Now, are they going to get a first and a fifth? I don't think so, but they can do better than this, I think.
No, and I agree with you. And I mean, when you look at what Melvin Gordon has done the last 4 years, I mean, 175 carries last year, 28 total touchdowns. Realistically, those last 3 years, sure. The rookie year, no touchdowns, no big deal. But then you also have to consider the fact, Harrison, last year he had 50 catches. The year before that, he had 59. Yeah. He actually has been a very good workhorse for this Chargers team. But when you talk about Gordon, I'm kind of a believer that Melvin Gordon, I'm not saying he's not talented, but I think he's a little bit more of a product of that system for the Chargers. That's a good offense. And he's actually been a little bit of an inefficient runner, and the knee injuries, the injuries in general, they kind of scare me a little bit. So here's what we think of the top 5 destinations for Melvin Gordon if he were to be traded. You got the Philadelphia Eagles. They're obviously interested in him. The Houston Texans, they lost Lamar Miller. They do have Duke Johnson there. Hopefully my Duke Johnson shares for fantasy, they don't get trashed. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they need a running back very, very bad.
I have a note there. I think the Bucs, if they were to get off to a good start, 2-0, 3-1, I think that's when you make the trade. I think you see where you are as a team. Because you don't want to trade for him then go 4-12.
Hey, I totally hear you.
But if Jameis Winston comes out and they're like, man, if we're running back away from making the playoffs, boom, make your trade, there you go.
Gotcha. Well, Bruce Arians did say that he kind of wants to hang out with his running backs that he's got now. The 49ers and then the Buffalo Bills, those are our top 5 destinations for Melvin Gordon. So will Gordon play in 8 games this year? O for over or U for under? Let us know in the comments section. I'll give you my answer. Harrison, I'll let you fire away first.
I put 8 when I put this question together for a couple reasons. One, if he doesn't get traded, I don't know when he's going to report. And 2, does have some injury history. So, he'll probably miss a few games anyway just because he gets banged up. So, I put that kind of happy medium, 8 games, type O for over, type U for under. I want to say over still just because, unlike Zeke, I don't think he has the leverage he thinks he has. I think he'll report. But it'll be less than 12 games. I'll put it that way.
See, I'm going to go U for under. I don't think he comes back until week 10. So I'm typing my U. Harrison's going over. We see a bunch of people typing O, U's. Keep those flowing in here. Now, we got a sponsor on today's show. It's BetDSI. Go to chatsports.com/bet. If you guys like betting on NFL games, if you want to bet on who's going to win the Super Bowl, there's one place to do it. It's at BetDSI. Use that promo code NFL120 for 120% deposit bonus. And heck, if you want to bet on this game, like Steelers and Patriots, you got to go do it. Steelers, that spread +7. The over-under in this game is 51 points. Harrison, who do you think is going to win this game, Steelers or the Patriots?
I think the Patriots will win. I like the Steelers getting 7, though. Patriots
right?
start off pretty slow early in seasons typically, so I would take the points there, go to BetDSI to do that, but I think I would take the Patriots to win that game.
Here's the thing. I'm going to take the Patriots to win, and I'm going to take the Patriots to cover. There's one thing that I've noticed. Big Ben against Tom Brady, the Patriots win that. Yeah, the Patriots end up winning that one. So I'll put my money at BetDSI, and if you guys want to win some money, don't listen to this guy over here. Listen to me. Go use that promo code NFL120 for 120% deposit bonus. We're talking about a lot of money on today's show because guess who else made a whole bunch of money? It's Jared Goff.
Yeah, it's
wow.
It's NFL contract season
Holy
right now. So many deals in the works in the last 24 hours. Goff gets his 4 years, $134 million extension, 110 guaranteed. Wow.
Oh, my
Coming
Lord.
off that run to the Super Bowl, which, honestly, he really wasn't that great in the playoffs.
Can I just say overpaid?
Certainly, hey, well, we'll get to a question in a minute. Certainly did not play good in the Super Bowl. So here are the top 5 highest paid quarterbacks per year. Shout out Mustache Aaron Rodgers.
I was just going to say, that's an amazing mustache.
Russell Wilson at 35, Big Ben at 34, Goff coming in with Aaron Rodgers at 33.5, obviously Wentz at 32, but he also gets the guaranteed. This is what I'm most surprised about. I'm not surprised for 33.5 for Jared Goff. Young, talented quarterback, that's the going rate. But $110 million guaranteed for Jared Goff, who many would suggest benefits extremely from Sean McVay. I mean, we hear all the stories. He's talking in his head right before, the 15-second cutoff time on the play. McVay's like, all right, this guy's going to be open, all this stuff. Like, very unique situation out in L.A. And look, he's a good player, but $110 million guaranteed.
Yeah, I don't think Jared Goff, despite what you see on screen right now, those numbers, very impressive numbers. But I also think, hey, he started to slow down at the end of the year. Sure, he lost his main guy, Cooper Kupp, and then he lost Todd Gurley. But for me, if you're a quarterback who's getting this type of money, I don't care who you lose. You better be able to carry your team. And between you and I don't think Jared Goff is like a top 10 quarterback. I really don't. He's a good quarterback. Yes, the NFL, I think, is a little bit spoiled right now with quarterback play. But for me, Harrison, I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback. So who's more critical to the Rams' success? This is a fun question. Type J for Jared Goff or type S for Sean McVay?
Typically, I'm more of a players guy. But it's got to be McVay because we saw Goff with Jeff Fisher.
See, I don't want to put that.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure you put
Goff's
Tom Brady.
not that bad. I hear you.
You put Tom Brady with Jeff Fisher, and it comes out looking a lot like Nathan
Kerry
Peterman.
Collins had a couple of pretty good seasons with Jeff Fisher. Point aside, I think Sean McVay is one of the few coaches that has more impact on the team than the quarterback does. Can you say hashtag system quarterback? Look, I think Goff.
I can't watch. Hashtag system quarterback.
I think Goff is a good quarterback, like you said.
He's good. He's very good.
But he's a tier 2 guy. Like, he's not an elite quarterback, and they just paid him top dollar. I'm typing my S for Sean McVay. Seeing some J's in the chat, more S's for Sean McVay.
J, Robert, Thumper, we appreciate you guys weighing in. So use J for Jared Goff or S for Sean McVay. I'm also typing my S for Sean McVay. Let's talk about Julio Jones. Is this guy going to get a pay raise? Because I'll say this right now. If there's a wide receiver in the NFL who I'd pay a lot of money, it's Julio Jones.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Look, the epitome of consistency is Julio Jones, as we'll get your numbers up for a second. They restructured a couple of deals in Atlanta. They've been trying to work on an extension throughout this offseason. He only is set to make $21 million over the next 2 years. I mean, that is crime robbery from the Atlanta Falcons for what this guy produces. Just look at his last 4 years, Mitch. Averaging about, 1,500, 1,600 yards per season. That you'd like to see more touchdowns. He had a bit of a resurgence the back half of last year in that category. But he's as good as it gets. There's about 5 guys who you could argue is the best in the game. He is one of them.
He's one of them. He's the only receiver the last 4 years to be top 3 in the NFL in receiving yards. So we're trying to get to 150K subscribers currently at 1,300. Oh, my God. 135,183.
Yikes.
I can't read. Subscribe to Chat Sports. We've been told, Harrison and I, that if we get to 150K, we get a pay raise better than Jared Goff, better than Ezekiel Elliott. So get us to 150K currently. Not at 150K. Let's talk about Antonio Brown now. He got a helmet. Woo! Finally, I don't have to talk about Antonio Brown head drama anymore.
Well, at least we hope so. And obviously, Mitch has been struggling throughout this process on the Raiders channel. Make sure you subscribe over there. But he's chosen what's called a Zenith Shadow helmet. We'll get a photo of that in just a second for you guys. Schefter tweeted out apparently he feels more agile, more comfortable in this helmet, can see better, which is obviously very important for a wide receiver. But can this please be the end? Can we focus on football in Oakland? Like, this has just been a wild couple of months.
An absolute wild couple of months. But hey, it's been wet in my beak. So here's the helmet. You guys can see it here. Funny quote from Hard Knocks last night if you didn't watch it. Keon Hatcher said that Antonio Brown looked like a Power Ranger in this thing. And I don't remember which player said that he thought that it looked like a Camaro or like a sleek, like looking Maserati kind of car. I don't remember what it was. But he said the helmet looked like a Power Ranger. I'll be honest, Harrison, I never watched Power Rangers. Did you?
Yeah, no, not a Power Rangers guy. I had a question for you, though. Do you think this helmet thing has been more about aesthetics or about truly like what he's comfortable in?
I mean, Antonio Brown was literally caught on Hard Knocks saying that this helmet is ugly as F.
That's
now,
what I'm
these
saying.
numbers, they're not ugly as F. And I don't care if Antonio Brown puts up these kind of numbers. We're not going to care what his feet look like. We're not going to care what kind of helmet he has on. Hell, he could trot out onto the field in a thong for all I care. If he's putting up 15 touchdowns, leading the league in touchdowns, getting 100 catches, and we're getting close to 1,300 yards, hell yeah, that's the only thing I care about with Antonio Brown and this Oakland Raiders offense. So we talked about Julio Jones. We talked about Antonio Brown. Who's the best wide receiver in the NFL right now? For me, like you said, there's a clear 5. It's Hopkins, Devontae Adams to me. Then you got to put Julio. You can throw Antonio Brown in there for sure. Michael Thomas is a name.
Tyreek Hill. I mean, it's interesting because we
OBJ.
say there's a clear 5. We just gave off 7 names. I would go DeAndre Hopkins because no matter who he's playing with at quarterback, the guy has always produced. He catches everything, had 0 drops last year. He's a better touchdown threat than Julio Jones. That's why I got to go him over Julio. And he does it all with no drama. Yeah. I don't even know what he sounds like. Like, seriously, like, if someone played audio of DeAndre Hopkins, and they were like, who is this? I don't know. But if it's Antonio Brown, I know exactly who it is. DeAndre Hopkins is my favorite wide receiver in the NFL, and I think he's the best as well.